Hi, welcome back. Today I'm going to make another lucid dreaming video. I'm going to talk about frequently asked questions as well as frequently stated comments because I've talked about this topic a lot to lots of different people over several years, and I hear basically the same series of questions and comments over and over again. So what that tells me is people have a lot of common frequently asked questions, and so I wanted to go over those. So the first most common question I'm always asked is, was this a lucid dream? And someone will relay, a dream story. So what that tells us is that there are a lot of people who don't understand the definition of lucid dreaming. And that is not super surprising when you consider that really where are people getting their information on this topic? It's not exactly taught in schools. There are books about it. Not all of those books are super reputable. I know as someone who was looking for lucid dreaming books for many years that, they're not in most bookstores and they're not in most libraries. You have to kind of go digging for them. So it is a niche topic, and I can understand why there's some confusion. So I've talked about this before, and I'm sure I'll talk about it, forever, but a lucid dreaming is just a dream in which you know you're dreaming. The end. That's it. I think that gives you everything you need to know to answer that question for yourself. I don't think you should have to ask me. I don't want to shame anybody, but I just think if you understand that that's the definition, then there shouldn't be any more confusion. But some points of confusion that people have are they'll think, well, I had a lucid dream, but I woke up right afterwards. That was still a lucid dream. It was a very short lucid dream. It was on the low level of the lucidity spectrum, but I would still count it because you were lucid in a dream. Just didn't last for very long. Or the other point of confusion has to do with control. People will say, I knew I was dreaming, but I couldn't control everything. Was that a lucid dream? Yes. Control is neither necessary nor sufficient for a dream to be considered lucid. It's not a part of the definition. It is a symptom. It is a feature, however you want to think of it. But it is not necessary. I think the confusion here is people want to sell lucid dreaming. They want to get people interested. So the control part is interesting. It seems cool. Oh, you get to control your dreams. And it can be true. And it is certainly possible in any dream, with the confidence. If you just go in with confidence, really truly knowing that you can change things with your mind, you can. You absolutely can. But that is part of the skill. It takes time. Again, lucidity is on a spectrum. But that spectrum part shouldn't be confusing the definition. The definition is black and white. And I think that's very important. I don't think we can have productive conversations about this if we're not coming from a place of having a shared definition, right? Some people do actually disagree with that definition. But every book I've ever read, every expert I've ever studied, the book starts with that sentence, a lucid dream is a dream in which you know you're dreaming. Boom. I just don't think we can have a very, as I said, productive conversation without a shared definition of the term. At the very least, right? So, but that is the number one question. That's the biggest point of confusion. Now, from there, I sort of alluded to this already, but the second most common thing that I hear is, well, I have lucid dreams, but I wake up right afterwards. Which is why I think my most popular lucid dreaming video so far is how to stay in a lucid dream, which you can go watch. And yeah, people have been watching that more than any other lucid dreaming video I've made. I think that speaks to the fact that that's an extremely common problem, so I'm not going to really dive into it now because I made a video about it. You can watch that. Sleep paralysis also comes up. False awakenings come up. People don't usually know the term. They'll just say, have you ever had a dream where you woke up, or you thought you woke up, then you woke up again, then you woke up again? Yes, it's called a false awakening. I made a video about that as well. What else? Sorry, I have a list here. Oh, people want to talk about their hands, which I always think is super random. They'll say, oh, I've heard about lucid dreaming. I know you're supposed to look at your hands to tell if you're dreaming. And sure, you could look at your hands. You don't have to. There's so many different ways to go about reality checks. Another subtopic. I've made videos about every one of these little subtopics, but a reality check is when you ask yourself if you're dreaming. You start doing so while you're awake to try to form the habit, and then hopefully you will ask yourself while you're dreaming, and the answer will be yes, I'm dreaming. But when you're awake, you don't really need to test reality because most people, most of the time, can just say, yep, I'm awake. But when you're dreaming, it's harder to tell whether or not you're dreaming, which that in and of itself can and should be eventually, when you're really, an expert at this, be enough to tell you that you're dreaming. If you have doubts, you're asleep. But it's harder to grapple with that when you're asleep. Your brain just isn't working the same way as it does when you're awake. So it's nice to have confirmation from the external environment, but you also don't need confirmation from your external environment. All my favorite reality checks take place within the brain. So you can just retrace your steps, how did I get here? And you'll realize, oh, right, I fell asleep earlier. Again, doubt itself can be enough to tell you that you're dreaming. And there are other physical reality checks. You can try to walk through a wall, you can try to fly, push through a solid surface, etc. People like to look at their hands, I think, because their hands are always with them. I would point out that your brain is always with you, too. You don't, your external environment is always with you. You can just scan everything in the external environment, and you will probably find something off to tell you that you're dreaming, especially when you're on the lookout for it. That's just my thoughts. Maybe I'm being too nitpicky again. I have a lot of opinions about this topic. Well, people like to ask me if I lucid dream every night or if all my dreams are lucid. Absolutely not. I have a couple lucid dreams a week. It varies a lot depending on my lifestyle, how much sleep I'm getting, what, my goals are with lucid dreaming. But yeah, not all my dreams are lucid. There isn't anybody out there that I know of who has all lucid dreams. Or let me rephrase that. There's no one that I know of for whom all of their dreams are lucid. That person doesn't exist in a documented way. Sometimes I meet people who say, I define, a lucid dream, and they say, oh, all of my dreams are like that. And I can't help but be extremely skeptical, because there are people who have made their lives studying lucid dreaming as a sleep science, who have written books about how to have lucid dreams as frequently as possible. Those people, most of their dreams are still not lucid. Now, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but if you are someone who genuinely believes that you understand the definition and that all of your dreams are lucid, call a sleep lab. That is extremely unusual. You probably have extremely unusual neurological activity that, you should get it looked at. Not for any kind of that's bad reason. I just mean that's cool and that's different, and you should tell science about it if it's true. But I can't help but be skeptical because, well, nobody thus far has been documented as having exclusively lucid dreams. Then again, there are some very unusual cases of neurodivergence in the world. I remember reading about a woman who had I think she was anonymous, so I don't remember her fake name, but, there's this condition where people just have insane, I shouldn't say it that way. They just have a really, really unbelievable memory, and you could say, November 5th, 1985, and they could say, oh, I went to the grocery store. Wow. And so if I hadn't read an article about that, I would probably feel like that was impossible. So I don't want to go about the world thinking everything's impossible until I'm proven otherwise. So I just think that if you have exclusively lucid dreams, you should go get studied, because that's cool. That's incredibly rare if it is the case. So yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah, those are all my frequently stated comments and frequently asked questions. Please subscribe if you're interested in this topic, as I talk about it, as often as I can. I try to put out lucid dreaming videos every week with varying success, but if you subscribe, I'll be more inclined to keep making videos. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.